sharing with you in this video how to connect with your higher self to create what you want faster as a result of it. And so the truth that I really believe is that there's two ways to create in your life. There's one, when you're connected to your true self, you could say you're connected to your higher self, or the essence of who you truly are. And in the second way, what's happening is that you're identified with form. You're identified with thought, with emotion, with feelings. And then of course, as a result of that, you start to attach to all the problems and all the negative situations that happen in your life as well. Of course, as well as the positive. And then so what that leaves you with is limited creative power to really create what you want in your life. And then so in this video, again, we're going to be sharing how to step into your higher self and create from that space rather than falling into the victim state of your lower self, where you're completely controlled by your, so to speak, quote unquote, lower level desires. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is really to have an understanding that, truthfully speaking, I believe that it is the case that nothing is granted without God's permission, so to speak. So the truth is that if you don't come from the right place, you know what I mean? It's like if you come from a truly, so to speak, slimy intention that you know is not honorable to yourself and others, like you know that it doesn't come from the truth, you know that it doesn't come from the highest value that you can kind of live up to, you know that you're not being the best version of who you can be in that moment, when you know that it's not something deeper than just your ego, it's almost like you know that you find a way to self-sabotage it. And so why is this the case? I believe that this is the case because we have to come from a deeper divine intention, something that's a little bit deeper than just your human intelligence, but to go into a deeper intelligence and to see where does human intelligence even come from, to start to understand that, yes, of course, your desire will be granted to you, so to speak, I believe, if you come from the highest and the most purest and the deepest space within yourself, which is of course that connection to the present moment that has nothing to do with the past or the future. It's not about the past or the future. It's about bringing it back into the present and then seeing that, of course, you can give yourself permission to be the person that you want to be now, but understand that it will be granted to you only if you come from the purest space and not from just being attached to who you think you are and this limited sense of self that thinks it has to happen in a particular way or it can never happen. So the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, to sort of make it a little bit more like practical, how can you actually apply this in your life, is to understand that really what we're trying to do is merge our lower level desires with divine intention. So we're trying to merge these two things together. I think that this is a really powerful thing to do, because what you're doing is you're saying, okay, you know what? It's okay for me to want, for example, money. Like you can want money. Maybe you want something to go well in your business. You know, maybe you want a relationship to go a particular way. Whatever the case might be, truthfully speaking, what you want to start to do is say, how can I align this intention with the greatest good of all, that to help everybody? You know what I mean? So it's not just about you anymore. It's about the bigger picture, and almost you can think about it as the entire universe. And yes, it sounds weird to say it like that, but you have to see that really every decision that you make does impact and influence the universe in a particular way. And how you show up in your life moment to moment also does impact the universe in a particular way. So really what I believe is that it's not about, pushing your energy outward necessarily. Yes, of course, you can still come from self-love. Yes, of course, you can still come from that beingness of who you truly are, but you're also thinking like, okay, if I want something anyway, how can I sort of add value to other people's life while I'm doing this? So really that leads me to the third thing that I want to share with you in this video as well, which is to understand that that's what you should be thinking in your mind all day, every single day, if you truly want to connect with your higher self. And of course, I don't mean you have to do it every single moment, truthfully, but have it as a main focus in your life, to see that if you start to question in your mind, how am I adding value to this person's life right now? Or how am I adding value to this situation right now by being in this situation in a particular way? What's happening is that you can still have your desire, you can still want what you want, but you're coming at it with more presence and more self-awareness, which is going to automatically make it so that you're respecting yourself more. And then of course, if you respect yourself and you love yourself to a certain degree, you will automatically just respect the environment as well. You know, that's really the key that a lot of people miss, is that they want to help others, and it's like, I want to help everybody else, but it's like, at some point you also have to put your needs first. You also have to love yourself first, and then now you really can come from a position of adding true value to people's life. And so that's how my mind works. But really, your mind can also answer this question in a particular way that resonates for you. So every single moment as you're living your life, as you're doing certain things, how can you add value to people's life? How can you be a person of value? What does value mean to you? For me, value just means that it's how you show up moment to moment. It's not necessarily what you're doing. For me to be the highest level of value that I can be for a person's life is ultimately, in any situation, or whether I'm being there for a person in their life, or whatever the case is, in terms of whatever, anything that I'm doing, really the truth is that it's about this state of being. So ultimately, I invite and encourage you to be in the highest state of being to be able to add value to people's life. Because oftentimes, if you're too focused on the doing, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to do certain things in particular to have value in the world. And of course, that's true. High volume and high action towards something and doing things in a particular way can oftentimes lead to better results. But you can never ever put so much volume on something and to put so much focus on doing that it will sort of mask the lack of being. The lack of being will always be evident in the person's action and how they're doing what it is that they're doing. And so really, if we're not focused on the being while we're doing, this is going to start to limit us in terms of all that creative power that we have within us to create what we want in our life.